It's 6 o'clock.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Anybody, I need a motion for the acceptance of the agenda. We got Ron and Margaret. Any questions? All in favor? Okay, anybody for public forum?
Bobby Joe.
Bobby Joe.
I'm stopping coming to these meetings because this is the third meeting in a row where I have to come and say, so tonight you're going to approve the, resignation, but she retired a long time ago, of Betty Todd, who informed me that do not call her Elizabeth, it is Betty, and for anybody who knows her. But she's been here for almost 42 years and retired quite some time ago, came back to drive, but she said it's time now, and I wish her all the best. I've known her my whole life, and part of the problem with growing up in this business, I suppose, and she's amazing. She's always got the safety of the students in her heart, and has made some really big waves, and we're gonna miss her. Wish her the best of luck in full retirement.
We wish you the best too. Thanks, Bobby
Can
Joe.
I add that?
You most certainly can.
Thank you. So Betty is a great bus driver. I don't think I ever got a bus referral for her bus. If I did, it was very few. She just managed everything on her bus by herself. And once I realized that she was usually right and I was usually wrong, we had a great working relationship. So we'll miss her.
Thanks. Okay, I need a motion for the acceptance of the consensus agenda. Motion, Rick, second. Joe? Any questions? All in favor? Okay, we have the superintendent's report. I know, you're first today.
Schools, the commitments, we've been working on those all year, or I should say, along with the leadership team. One to highlight this time is the engagement with different local people, and tomorrow I will be at a Hudson event that I was asked to be at, where it's advocating for public education and public schools and the career of being a teacher or serving in the school district. So I'm excited about that. Just some of our monthly highlights. Here's a picture of some of the students that went to the Career Jam today. I know they had a wonderful time. We already got a couple emails of people that went with them saying what a great opportunity it was. And I do want to thank Jeff and Darby, because when it was rescheduled or canceled initially, they made sure that
Where was it?
rescheduled. It was at
Yes.
Museum.
And they also they had time to get a tour of the college at the end of the day too, which they were excited about. I know we're getting here reports from everybody about the National School Board Association Conference. I found it very valuable, and I think I've already said what was really great about that opportunity was that you hear what's happening nationally, and you get to compare that to what you know about New York State and your own school district. And we have some really great things going on, not only here, but in our state too. And we're right on point with Portrait of a Graduate and what we're working to attain for all students, K through 12. The pre-K parent night was a great success again. I don't know, Laura, if you want to say anything about that, or any parents that are here that might have attended, but I know each year they just tweak that and it gets better.
Yeah, each year we try to do something different. This year we had the parents engage in different motive stations. They would see what it was like as a simulation of their child. We tend to have orientation during that first week of school, so parents often don't get to see the entire campus other than on pre-K parent night. I have this tour guide and show them into all of our different special areas, as well as into the Performing Arts Center, just to give them an overview. I know that Ashley was in attendance this year, so I hope that it was well received. I'm sending out a survey to just get some feedback from them. We started the Titan 5 Essentials this year, so I'm looking for that to be the focus of the parent night next year. So how do they teach the 5 different essentials to make sure that their children are best prepared for pre-K kindergarten?
The elementary concerts and art shows, and I guess I would just take a moment right now to welcome and introduce the board to Lindsay Fink, who was board approved at our last meeting to be the assistant principal, pre-K through 6. Welcome. We're excited to have you here. The junior high and the senior concerts were amazing. I have to say, I'm always impressed with the talent that we have in our students and that our teachers help our students attain. But they were mesmerizing. They were so well done. I sent some videos from both concerts to my mom because she loves music too, but she was quite impressed. And then the Spring into Wellness Walking Challenge, we had a lot of positive feedback about that. And I know that when we had our strategic planning committee, this even came up as one of the highlights of the year. And that even though, people were kind of fighting about steps, it was all in good fun. People had a really good time. So it was a great way to start off the spring, especially after a long winter. The Learning Fair last night was again just phenomenal and packed. And thank you to Laura and Mary for scooping ice cream and being willing to get sticky. And it just went so well. There were so many students, and the science projects were really great this year. Just such a broad spectrum of interest that the kids worked on. And there was one I did learn, which I didn't know, that cats sweat through their paws. And I was told that's why we have a learning fair, so we can all learn. So, and then the career jam, which I mentioned. Yeah, that was great. And we want to welcome our new board members, Bill Lorraine, serving in a 5-year term, starting effective in July with 290 votes. Ilza Erner was a write-in candidate with 82 votes. And then we have Jean Marie Mayer for serving in the 1-year term, which starts officially now with 33 votes. So welcome, Jean Marie. We're thrilled to have you as part of this community and this board.
Oh, thank you. I'm happy to be here.
I know that Bobby Joe already said some wonderful things, but anybody that can do more than 30 years of service, and especially when it's with children and families and serving in such a positive way, is really to be commended. So we do thank Betty for everything that she's done and continues to do through the end of the school year. Upcoming events, this is one of our highlights that Amy Janito has been working on with so many other leaders in the district, and we have so many more people who have RSVP'd, and I invited a few more people.
Nice.
We have SEI, our engineering firm, will have a table.
Nice.
One of the women that when we were initially talking about daycare I saw her again at the Hudson Economic Development Program. She's coming to have a table to promote being an early teacher apprenticeship pathways. So it just keeps growing, and that's really exciting. It's going to be a great day. It is the end of May, beginning of June, so you'll see this is less than a month's worth of activities, but there's something for everybody here, and I'll have this in my weekly board report for you as well, so that if there are any events that you are able to get to know that you're invited. I did forget to add on here that June 1st is the Science Symposium, because that was rescheduled from January. We canceled that and then decided to add something. So I think that you have something in front of you about that. And that's all I have. Are there any questions? Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have the student board member report. Hi, Violet.
All right. So it's May here at Taconic Hills High School, and may I say that a lot has happened. Let's first visit our seniors and see what our lovely seniors have been up to first. To start off, on May 1st, it was National Decision Day. Decision Day is a day where students proudly commit to their futures, whether it be college, trade school, gap year, work, they commit to their futures. Based on my findings, from last year to this year, I compared both the statistics from last year to this year to find the difference between them. A lot more people are going into the workforce rather than college. 28 people in the class of 2026 opted for job corps or careers as opposed to only 12 in the class of 2025. However, we did have an increase in people going to college out of state. In the class of 2025, only 6% of students moved out of state, and that number has since increased, and we hope for it to increase in the future. The top majors in our grade this year included construction, psychology, and engineering. While psychology was a key major for the class of 2025, the other two top majors for last year's class were business and medical professions such as nursing, x-ray tech, anything in the medical field. Also that day, it was also the Silver Bowl award ceremony. Students who maintain a streak of being high honor roll all throughout their high school career were given a special award. And the award was presented by a teacher of their choosing. Some of these teachers include Mr. Keegan, Mrs. Reelman, Mrs. Webster, Miss Jeffrey, and even a special guest visit from retired English teacher Mrs. Keenan. Also, the seniors recently hosted their car wash. Students washed various faculty, student, and community vehicles while munching on hot dogs straight from the grill and listening to classic music. We also had our Dollars for Scholars events. 1 second. Students got money from generous donors to help further their academic journey. Scholarships were given on merit, sports, careers, and characters. To express this gratitude, students are writing thank you notes to their donors. Lastly, sports teams also recently celebrated their senior nights. We had 30 seniors that were honored at each senior night, and I am not going to bore you with a list of names since there are a lot, and it would take me a long time to get through them all. And senior night is an important way for teams to bond with each other and for athletes to see how far they have come. Some athletes will be pursuing a sport in college. However, nothing will compare to the memories they have made here and the friends they have made playing here at Taconic Hills. While we are on the topic of sports, our Titans have been making great strides. When I was driving in today, I saw that there was a baseball game going on, which reminded me how baseball has been going strong with their games. Recently, the boys took on Hudson, Greenville, and Catskill, and Mackay Kirby, Jacob Alvarez, and Aiden Buczynski were recognized as key players throughout the games. Over in softball, our girls have been doing an amazing job as well, especially sophomore Kaylin Brazy. Kaylin reached 400 strikeouts as a pitcher in her softball journey. The softball team celebrated this achievement with a handmade poster and lots of team photos. Now let's see what's going on in our National Honor Society. Our NHS students have been busy. Last month, the National Honor Society created an Easter egg hunt for the after-school program. The children very much enjoyed it and loved finding the brightly colored eggs. We also recently had a bake sale where various members whipped up cookies, cupcakes, mini pies, brownie bites, as well as other goodies to sell to the community. It is one of the biggest fundraisers, and we are thankful for the opportunity to host the bake sale. Additionally, Taconic Hills also held class elections. Students campaigned for various roles to serve in their class. The campaigning was very creative, and students worked hard on demonstrating why they should run for an officer in their position. Now let's see the other side of things and look at the elementary school. Firstly, the elementary PTO had their Sweet Peas fundraiser where 15% of your bill would benefit the PTO. I had the pleasure of going for breakfast, and from what I saw, it seemed like a pretty good turnout, and that was just breakfast only. So I'm pretty sure they got more of a lunch crowd. I do not know how much they made in total, but it looked like a pretty good turnout to me. Students also participated in the learning fair, where students showed off their knowledge on any topics to their peers and enjoyed some ice cream, as was mentioned before. In addition, the Titan Voyager came and students enjoyed kettle corn. Now let's look at some Questar. Since Questar has been busy. Firstly, heavy equipment students are addressing a drainage issue at the Irish Cultural Center. Students must take the knowledge they have learned throughout the year and apply it to this situation to help fix the issue. In addition, students in the fire science program learned about charged and uncharged hoses at the Columbia County Emergency Response and Training Facility. I personally do not know the difference between a charged and an uncharged hose, but it sounds interesting. Over in New Visions, Pathways in Education students took the TA exam. By passing this TA exam, we are TA certified, which means we can now work as TAs in a school. Many of us, myself included, are working for the Questar Extended School Year program this summer. This will help us gain experience to use in our future classroom one day and augment our shadowing experience. We have also started our ABC countdown towards the end of the school year. Today was Neon Day, and some of our past themes included Adam Sandler Day, Character Day, and Food Day, and some of our upcoming themes include Pirate Day, Queen Day, and Rhyme Without Reason. The students are having a great time with it, and it is building community in our classroom. Lastly, we must look ahead to some of the end of the year events that are coming up. Firstly, Taconic Hills will be celebrating America 250 with a reenactment of Fort Ticonderoga, creating an educational experience for all. Also, the senior class trips will be on June 2nd and 3rd and June 18th. During these days, we will navigate from camping to city to coastal as we explore the Poconos, New York City, and Lake George. Whether we are hiking in the mountains, sightseeing in the city that never sleeps, or tanning on the sunny beaches of Lake George, the trips have something for everyone in our class to enjoy. Another thing students are looking forward to is June 8th, where Appetite and academics come together at the senior breakfast / daytime award ceremony. We also have a career fair happening in the high school on June 4th, where students will network with employers to help them find work. An author will also be coming to the elementary school that day. Lastly, prom is coming on June 13th. Tickets are already on sale, and people are making plans with dates and friends to create a memorable experience. Prom will be held in Troy, New York at Loft 433, a venue with an amazing outlook on the Hudson River. With this breathtaking vista, students will surely make memories. Before I close this report, I would also like to say a happy belated birthday to board member Francesca Schifano. Yesterday was her birthday, and we wish her a happy birthday, and we appreciate all she has done for the board. And thank you, everybody, for listening to the report and supporting our school.
Thanks, Violet. Great job.
Thank you so much.
And happy birthday to Francesca. Okay. Now we have the NISBA Annual Convention and Expo reports. So I know Janine and Molly aren't here. They can report next time. How about you, Joe? What do you got?
Well, I wasn't feeling well, so things didn't go good for the 3 days there because I was fighting cold and stuff. But my first class I took, I was at the edge of my seat ready to take notes, and this guy was just all over the place, and I couldn't write anything down. It had to do with the class. The class was supposed to have to do with the Christmas sports and kids and stuff. And then at the end he said, "Stop by my booth." I'm like, "Oh, this guy's selling something." So that was that one. So I took a couple other classes, but one class I took was a company that helps you getting grants for EV buses and stuff. I said, well, let me see what's going on there. Because we could always get more grants. So I went in there, and the room was about as big as our cafeteria, and there was 4 people in the class. So the guy pretty much said, well, I guess it's just going to be a conversation between us. So what happened was, people were talking, and what this company does is if you want to get an EV grant, you just make an agreement with them, and the next time you see the bus is when the bus driver gets off on the side. You take care of the infrastructure for the people and everything. And so then he asked who had the buses. I said, well, we got some issues with them. And I mentioned a couple of the software issues and stuff, and he already knew everything that was wrong with our buses, and he said, well, you guys got the first generation such and such. So I said, oh, so we bought a Netzel. Only older people know what a Netzel is. But that was pretty interesting, and I know Lynette said she had a great time there, and it was good for her, but to me, it wasn't the top of the list for national convention. It was lacking. They didn't have many choices for classes and stuff. But, still, I gained some knowledge, and like Lynette said, we see what other people are going on in their schools and stuff. And, we are very fortunate at the Connefield, that's what I would say.
Ron?
Looking at my classes right now. I wish I had this when I was a kid in school and taking tests. Look at this. I took one, a couple of them were kind of, working on how to deal with lawsuits. Unfortunately, that's part of our existence is dealing with that. And, that was interesting. The attorneys were sharp. And also we dealt with how predators groom children and try and take advantage of them. And we have to be alert and vigilant about that because it's a major problem. It's not, I would hope not our school, but it's everywhere. That was fascinating. Then I did a thing with working smarter with artificial intelligence. It's coming. So people who want to stick their heads in the sand and say they're not going to do anything, it's going to change a lot of things. So it's how we approach it. Personally, I think, from my own perspective, if a kid can learn something, as long as you can quiz him on it, then he's learned something. I don't really care whether he does artificial intelligence or reads it from a book. If he can incorporate that knowledge and tell you about it, then it's worth it. But if he's just writing, putting his name on a piece of paper and saying, "Oh, that's my word," well, that's not good. So, the teachers and staff are going to have to figure out how to handle that. And then last but not least, I did a course on the SNAP program and how, because of our unfortunate take on our education in DC, that is going to be a major problem. It's going to cost a lot of people money. We feed breakfast and lunch to every kid for free. Every kid. Not a lot of schools do that. And quite honestly, like they all said, the presenters, how can a kid learn something when they're hungry? So that's going to be a major problem that we have to deal with. I'm sure that this school will always take care of their kids, but for a lot of kids in other places, not New York State, not here, they're going to have major problems. Other than that, it was a great time. I liked it. I love San Antonio. I've now become, a junior youth member. I also got to see the San Antonio Spurs play the Dallas Mavericks. But I got Wembayama. That guy is like 7'5" and freak of nature. And I had a great time. I always have a great time. So that's all I got to say.
All right. For me, as you all know, I'm on the work-based learning kick, and so all of the sessions that I went to were based on that. There was a school, South Allegheny School. There was a school in Michigan. And it's the same thing that I've kind of been saying all along since I've been here. It takes the board, it takes the administrators to be involved in making sure that our kids are prepared for a career, whether that's college, whether it's the workforce. So, and those relationships are really important within the community, and we probably should do more of that. So one that I went to said I think it was Allegheny, they said what they did is they looked at the data in their community. So it's like, what was prevalent in their community? What were the needs of the economics to keep the economics of their community? And that's kind of how they pushed for kids to kind of look for careers within their communities that were there. So, I mean, obviously, we're in a rural community, so it's kind of hard, but again, I think it's doable. You find something that, you want, to me, I would love to keep kids here. I mean, it's a shame that our kids are leaving this area. So they said there's a gap between the workforce and the skill sets that kids are leaving here with. So we're teaching them stuff. They get out in the real world. They don't have the skill set they need to even get a basic job. I don't know how many times I've heard construction carpenters say these kids can't even read a ruler. It's like, that's terrible. So we just, I just think that we are moving in the right direction. I just think we need to, just keep moving in that direction. Let's see. They said parent involvement is really important, that if you want, the parents to get involved in their kids' future, have a question and answer session, let them come in and again, tell them, oh, these are opportunities for your kids. A lot of parents don't even know what their opportunities are for their kids out in the workforce. Let's see. Look for community partners for internships, which I think with Amy, I know Amy's been doing a great job building the work-based learning, so I'm hoping that will grow, and maybe that'll be how I'll keep my ties with the school, is I'll keep my hands in that, and hopefully I can help that along. They're saying the future of education is, they're saying it's to develop apprenticeship degrees, and the school and employer designed career pathways is the future of education. I think there are some states out there, mostly the Midwest to out west, Oklahoma. There's a lot of the states out there have already been on this bandwagon. New York State, in my opinion, we're lagging behind in that area. So again, New York State is finally going in the right direction. And that's all I got. All right. So now what do we got? Board of Education member activity reports. Joe?
Good.
And then Marty's got stuff.
I went to the Silver Bowl ceremony that Violet just talked about, which was the first year I was doing it. It was really, really beautiful. The speeches were so awesome, and it was just a really nice ceremony. And then I also got to see the slideshow commitment day where everyone's doing, which was wonderful to see. It's a great group of kids. And I went to the Dollars for Scholars night. Sam's on that committee, she was there, and it was a great evening. I thought it was run really well, and they had a reception in the cafeteria, which hadn't been done the last time I was there. Been to a few sports things, and I just want to say we do have such a great art and music here, and I think that's really important for kids to have that in their lives, so we really feature our music in our programs.
Ron?
I actually have something to report, and it's not sports related. I went to the high school music thing. It was really good. I actually heard of the songs. When you go the first time you see a kid, my son and daughter, and they were like, 6 years old playing, and it was like a wall of noise, but you still say, oh my God, that was perfect. That was unbelievable. But now, if they're the ones that stayed with it, you could actually understand the song. It was good. It was really good. I was very impressed. Mrs. Miller was great. She always is.
Yes.
And Mr. Russell, they did a bang-up job. I had a great time. I was pleasantly surprised.
Were you here thinking it was a sporting event and it was a music?
Listen, I don't need to reveal everything. I just know I was here and I saw it.
Okay. You heard Chad was going to be here, and that's why you came.
Oh, I would have had a baseball bat with it.
Oh my goodness. I was just here last night for the budget vote. I was here most of the day. That's about my activity. How about you?
I attended the strategic blueprint workshop last week. It was very informative. Thank you for that. we've set some good goals and it looks like we're achieving it. So, thanks to everybody who's making that happen.
You know, Lynette, I never did ask you, is there anything from the conference, any session that stood out for you? I'm sorry, I didn't even ask
No,
you.
that's okay. I did have. quite a
Yeah,
few
I'm sorry about that.
because I had different, but I will keep it brief for steadfast audience. I did focus on some that were really good that I attended. One was about from compliance to commitment, and just about how school board members and leaders, it was about local advocacy and the future of special education. They talked about when federal funding has shortfalls, which has happened across history, and teacher shortages, what we can do. That was very informative. They talked about modernizing direct funding, the importance of intervention services early, and that those are very critical. And talked about supporting smaller learning communities, making sure that we're not isolating students, but integrating students, which I know that Janet Orwick has worked a lot to do for our students this year, and not only bringing some students back, but just how we're structuring special education for next year. So that was exciting. Another one I attended was about, they were in New Mexico, but it was a board that really helped transform the district by being united with their student outcomes and focusing on academic and behavioral outcomes for students, and how they had their goals were based on a strategic plan, and that was good to just get some different ideas and thoughts.
New Mexico does some, I've been to a couple with New Mexico over the years,
Yeah.
and they did good presentations.
I just, there was a variety of things that I attended. Another one was about the difference between being reactive and proactive with intervention versus being knowledgeable about student culture and our student population. And it just talked about how are we re-engaging students for attendance, how do we restore students through the MTSS process and bring them back, have them into school and wanting to be here. One of those is also what Mr. Simons and Darby have worked on with our credit recovery program this year, because, you know, when kids get defeated and feel that they can't succeed, that what's the point in coming? So this has been a great way to help some people restart and be motivated. And then they talked about reward, just recognition and incentives to reinforce positive attendance habits. So learning some new things, but also being reminded of all of the on-point strategies and practices we were doing here. Made me think about the PBIS and the efforts that Laura and Mary have done this year at the elementary school. And then another thing I attended was just talking about trauma-informed implementation, which I know we hear that word a lot about trauma-based issues, trauma-informed, but it's really about being able to recognize those kind of triggers, and as adults being able to know what do we need, what triggers us, so that we could be regulated and provide that self-care to ourselves so that we can then be our best to deal with our students and help them meet their needs. And just talked about fostering predictable routines, building emotional literacy, and prioritizing relationships over rules and checklists. So I guess nothing that we may necessarily not know, or anything that is necessarily new. Some of the things had a twist on them. And I will say one of my favorite things that I'm trying to get is the little pod that kids could sit in, because it really was, I mean, I went in one whenever we had a break, if it was available, and just a great small learning space, either for kids to have meetings in or to just connect. And I know Ashley's looking at me, so I'm like, we have to find a way to get this one. Because I talked to the rep and I got a deal. If we buy one, we can have another one for free right now. So we're working on it. But they do have, like, they could be a study area, they have different things where they can put, some, I can't think of the word, like just calming things that are in there to help students. And I see Dean Marie shaking her head, Marcy shaking her head, I just can't think of the word. But sensory, thank you. So it did actually make me think of some of our special needs classrooms, but then also the opportunity if we had two to be able to have one at the high school for kids as well. So, yeah, I thought it was really great. And also just to like meet people, like I said, and hear the kind of concerns and things that they're facing. It's pretty much the same across the country. So.
I will say, especially with rural schools, if you meet people that are from rural schools and like especially out west, or I know Joe's met people from Alaska, they are having the same exact issues that we all are. So yeah.
So thanks for letting me share.
Sure. All right. We got new business now. I need a motion to approve the results of the annual district budget vote and election. I've got Ron, second. Joe, any questions about that? All in favor? Okay. Now we got policies. I need a motion to, we got three, we got a bunch. 6 of them looks like. Second read, so we are going to be voting on the approval of these policies. So I need a motion first. We got Margaret, and second, Rick. And Margaret, do you want to talk about these before we
Sure.
do the vote?
The board organizational meeting, we made some changes to match the law regarding when the reorg meeting happens. The field trips, we added a streamlined permission slip. The school and safety plans, we had to add cardiac emergency response plan to that. The audit committee just needed fewer meetings per year. The way it was worded was not accurate to what we're doing. So that was a small change. Charging the meals, and the free meal services, we streamlined to the municipal recommended. And we added things about homeless foster and things like that that needed to be put in.
All right, anybody have questions about that? All in favor? Okay. I need a motion for a new course approval. Looks like Spanish 3. Motion. Margaret, second.
Nobody wants this course?
Joe. Any questions on that? All in favor? Okay, now I need a motion for disposable of 3 TI calculators. Motion, please. Rick and Margaret. Any questions? All in favor? Oh, we're moving along now. All right, I need a motion for, let's see, for the MOA with the Chicana Hills Faculty Association for the Clay Shooting Club. Oh, Clay Shooting Club for grades 7 and 8. Motion, please. Margaret, second. Rick, any questions? Okay, need a motion for the collective bargaining agreement between the district and the Chicana Hills Senior Management Group. Motion, please. Margaret, second. Rick, any questions? All in favor? Okay, so now we've got B through L. Motion for the acceptance of the personnel agenda. Motion? Rick, second. Margaret? All right, let's do this quick. So we've got the resignation of the bus driver. She's been 42 years, as Bobby Joe and Lynette both alluded to earlier. So congratulations to her, and I wish her well. Let's see. Got a mechanic position established. Summer coordinator. After school activity coordinator. Which we have 2 of those.
The program is growing as well.
That's awesome. Crochet equipment, math teacher. Okay. Any questions, guys? All in favor? Okay, public session number 2.
Yeah, Letitia Nelson.
Hi, Letitia.
This is good.
That's fine, yeah, wherever you want.
Okay, so you actually just spoke briefly on the permission slips, and so I'm correct, you said that they're like generally for like K through 12, or are they different
Oh, during the policy piece, you mean?
for
Is
just
that-
for regular permission slips for the field trips?
Is that what,
Yeah,
that
it
was
was
what
just, I
we were-
believe,
Can we-
B or C.
Do we wanna pull it up? Do we have the whole policy?
It was.
I haven't looked at it.
That was the update.
I know
in
we
the new
just-
business.
Yeah,
It was the little updated.
yeah, we added the permission slip, but I mean, do you need us to pull it up on the screen?
I actually have one.
Oh,
I brought my
But for
daughters.
us to see it, yeah, 'cause
Yeah,
I don't
that's
have
not
it
a
memorized.
I can also pass this around to you guys.
okay, well, okay, so what is it that,
So usually, like, I have 3 kids that come here. I've been sending them on all the field trips that's available to their classes. But I usually read them, but this one, I don't know what told me to like read it fully through, which I feel like we always do. But, I saw with the waiver, something kind of a little different. And it states all of the liabilities, the losses, damages, and things like that. But then it randomly says claims and actions. I called the school, I spoke to the principal of my daughter's grade, and I was just a little confused, and I won't say concerned, but like, I am definitely a parent with my antenna always up because this world is getting very crazy in all settings, schools, outside, everywhere. And I was just confused as to why would you guys put the claims and actions, because my kids, they're all in elementary, and if my kids are claiming or saying something happened to them, I don't feel like my kids would be lying about that, or like younger kids would lie about whatever is happening. You guys are taking them to third-party areas, not saying that you guys don't care about the kids' safety and things like that. I'm more than sure that you guys do, and my kids always been good on trips, but that wasn't always in the permission slips. And I only noticed that because I actually compared one of my children's permission slips previously, because I always keep a lot of replays for them. I have a lot of kids. And I don't know, I would just wanted some clarity on that, because that's basically obviously saying that we're waiving the rights on, if God forbid something happened to our kid, we can't hold you guys responsible, but in fact, you guys would be the ones kind of responsible, being that my kid is in your care. So God forbid something had happened with the claims or actions. Just clarity.
Bonnie, I have to say
I was
something.
gonna say, is that,
If you read the key thing there, it says extent permitted by law. So
I was gonna say, there's something about the
it's
law.
only what has to do with lawfully we could be exempt.
Mm,
It doesn't mean we're exempt from everything.
That's
It's only
the,
what the law says that we're exempt.
okay.
That's, I've
Do
been
you know what
involved
the
with
law,
stuff
what the
like
law
that.
says that you guys are? I don't know about that portion, so I just want the clarity on what is the exemptions or not, like, well, what is the specifications on that? I've never heard that, and I've honestly never
I've
seen that
seen
in.
that in lots of a lot of contracts.
Yeah, it's
It's
really a
a generic
standard, kind of, yeah, I mean,
Permitted by law, you know.
and honestly, this is probably something that was recommended to us by NISBA or our insurance company, I'm
Mhm.
assuming. But yeah, I mean, it's nothing that we would like come up with, it's something that was told to us that we need to have, is what I'm guessing, correct?
As far as I know, this was taken from NISBA and wasn't handwritten by us. Is that true, Renat?
Yeah.
Okay,
So NISBA is the organization that helps us with the wording of the policies.
oh, okay,
But I can do a little research into that because I'm not familiar with that per se and see if that is normal or why that changed.
I was doing like my own, like to see like how much this stands, and again, I'm not saying that anything would be happening to my kids, but it's
Yeah.
just like, because it wasn't in the previous
Yeah.
permission slips, I'm like, and I see just the claims and actions after the specifications of the other ones, I was like,
Yeah.
that sounds
Well,
weird, like.
just you saying that, that's probably why it was changed, because I'm assuming, not here, but somewhere out there in the land, something happened. And now our New York State insurance company is saying, now you need to have this clause. So that, it's not that anything happened here,
Right.
But so now our professionals are telling us, this is what you need to have now to cover yourselves.
Okay.
So it's not like, it's not directed at anything in particular, it's more or less protection for the district because,
I can check with Ms. Bowes who recommended this and find out why they made that change and get back to you with that information. If you wanna, if we have their name and number or email or whatever.
I appreciate that, that would be amazing.
NYSBA is the New York State School Boards Association.
Good to know. All right, that's the only question that I had.
well, thanks.
Thank you for sharing.
Thank
Well,
you.
hearing from parents.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Thank you so much for coming. We
All
love
right.
to hear from parents.
No problem, thank you for having me.
Sure. Additional items to discuss. Do we have any additional items to discuss? Okay. You guys got anything over there? No? All right. So we need to make a motion to go into executive session to discuss, employment of a particular person. We got Margaret and Rick, right? All right. All in favor? All right. Did you guys raise your hand down there? Hey, you guys raise your hand. Good evening, everyone. Thank you very much.
Good night, everyone. Good night, safe travels.
Hi, thanks for the report.
Bye.
What did you get that to Alexis, my dear?
Yeah.
This is for you. Yes, this one